Iran and the United States are now closer to a deal than ever before. Reports say a 60-day MOU may be signed shortly with room for extension. During this time, Iran will keep the Strait of Hormuz completely open, collecting zero tolls from passing ships. Tehran will personally clear all defensive water barriers, ensuring commercial traffic can safely pass through. Within these 60 days, both nations will negotiate their strategic programs, and Washington claims Iran may even reduce its enriched uranium. But here is the real question. What exactly will Iran get in return? In exchange, the United States will ease sanctions on Iranian ports and various sectors, potentially boosting their economy. The strict economic blockade will be lifted, allowing Iran to legally sell oil globally, causing a sharp drop in worldwide oil prices. Not only that, following this deal, Israel will reportedly halt all operations in Lebanon. This complete framework will be revealed in a few days. What happens next? Tell me below.
Tonight, details are emerging of the agreement that could wind down the Iran war. In a social post today, President Trump wrote, "If I make a deal with Iran, it will be a good and proper one." He added, "I don't make bad deals." The agreement would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, vital to the flow of the world's oil supply. Its closure has sent gas prices soaring. Today, prices averaging $4.51 a gallon. That's $1.52 since the war started nearly 3 months ago. Tonight, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he and President Trump remain united on preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. CBS's MTS Tayeb is in Tel Aviv with the very latest on that. MTS.
Sharika, good evening. Although U.S. and Iranian negotiators have agreed to broad principles of a deal, including on several of the thorniest of issues that divide the bitter rivals, President Trump cautions the White House will not be rushing into signing any agreement.
So right there, looks like we have some good news and some bad news. One, we're dealing with Trump, and Trump is an idiot. So what I see happening is Iran is coming to the table with a deal, and Trump is going to say something stupid or do something stupid, or either IHOP, the blue and white country, is going to say something stupid or do something stupid to blow this whole thing up. Pun intended. So first, happy Memorial Day to everybody. Everybody say happy Memorial Day in the chat. Everybody wish everybody else a happy Memorial Day in the comments. And two, hit the like button, and you already know, drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. But wish everybody else happy Memorial Day. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I know this is a laid back day for everybody. Nobody has to go to work. But with IHOP running the show, like somebody just said, like Katie just said in the chat, it's difficult to be able to gauge this and say this is 100% good news, because these people are idiots. Trump is an idiot. So I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go, because if we reach the deal, they would just say we reached the deal. So we're close to reaching a deal. But if you've been paying attention to this whole thing within the last few months, they always turn around and say they reached the deal on the weekend. And it's always a weekend when they reach a deal, because there's certain algorithms that change when the president does this versus when the president does that. And the markets change, the Dow Jones, everything changes, because public sentiment or public fear affects how the stock market goes up and down. So there's a possibility that we actually are about to be at the end of all this, and the Strait of Hormuz is going to be opened. But it's also a possibility that all of this is a smokescreen in order for them to manipulate the stock market, for somebody to do something and on some insider trading stuff. So let's keep going and see where this ends up.
The future of the Strait of Hormuz is one of the biggest points of contention between the U.S. and Iran, after Tehran effectively shut the waterway since the start of the war, and the White House retaliated by imposing its own blockade, causing gas prices to soar. In a true social post today, President Trump said, quote, "The blockade will remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached, certified, and signed." But a senior Trump administration official told CBS News considerable progress has been made on the opening of the strait, so too on Iran's nuclear program, including its large stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, with this same official saying there's, quote, "no dispute that the stockpiled material would be disposed of. It's a question of how." Tonight, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said his country did not want the bomb. "We are now ready to reassure the world that we are not seeking nuclear weapons," he said. But Pezeshkian also lashed out at Israel, calling it a, quote, "destabilizing force in the region." Tehran insists.
Right there, IHOP is a destabilizing force in the region. See, when you look at all of this, when it comes to talks and peace talks, the one entity I would say that never wants peace, no matter what day it is IHOP. They don't want peace. Let me play something to show you what they actually want. And until they get this thing, they're never going to want peace. Well, I'm going to say this. They're never going to want peace no matter what. But let me play this. Let me see if I can find it. Because sometimes you don't really know why people are doing what they're doing, but pay attention to this. Listen to this.
Powerful nations in the world have to go down to their knees. That's what happened to Egypt. That's what's going to happen to America. That's what's going to happen to Germany. That's what's going to happen to France. That's what's going to happen to London. England's going to happen to Poland. That's what's going to happen to Russia. That's what's going to happen to China. That's what's going to happen to North Korea. They're all going to go down. They're all going to go down to their knees, especially the Western ones. The Zohar.
See, especially the Western ones. We are the Western ones.
Says that they're going to go down hard for how they treated us over the last 2,000 years, for the destruction of the Second Temple and how they treated us. Hashem's going to take them down hard. He's going to humiliate them on the world stage, Western countries. But we're almost there, guys. It's happening. This is it. And so, yeah, it's less ethnocentric. It's less ethnocentric. Because the reason God's doing this is for his name in this world. And his name being made great amongst us, we already think his name's great. It's the world stage where his name is going to be made great. And that's going to be the ultimate fireworks show.
I just want to let you put out what Iran just said. So in case of slightest attack on electricity infrastructure of Iran, the entire region will go dark. And
so somebody says only peace is when Jesus returns. I don't know. I don't understand what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't really want to get deep into that. But Jesus is not doing nothing. Okay. Nobody's returning. Nobody's coming to save you. Okay. Jesus is not going to return and start walking around and making peace. Because if you just think about it, the last time Jesus was here, what happened? They killed him. So it's kind of dysfunctional to actually think, one, Jesus is going to come back. That's one. Two, Jesus is going to make peace. They're just going to kill him all over again. Because the biggest problem with the world is religion in particular. And this is not against Jesus. This is not against God. I love God and I think Jesus is king. But as long as there are multiple religions, if Jesus was to come back and start walking around and healing people and touching people and turning the water into wine and all this other stuff, you don't realize or you don't know that how many people that are anti-Jesus, how many people that are anti-God. Look what I just played. You think people like this is going to be okay with Jesus coming back? This weirdo right here?
America, it's what's going to happen to Germany. It's what's going to happen to France. It's what's going to happen to London. England's going to happen to Poland. It's what's going to happen to Russia. That's what's going to happen to China. It's what's
this was going to happen to Jesus. So you think weirdos like that are going to give a shit about Jesus coming back? Because if Jesus comes back, which he's not going to come back, but if he was to come back, he's going to come back as a human being, just like he was at first, and they're going to kill his ass. And then it's going to be all over again. And then we're going to be looking crazy. And then we're going to like, damn, now what we going to do? Oh, what are we going to do? Because it's crazy sitting around worrying about Jesus coming back. And then somebody just said in the chat, the last days. The last days doesn't sound like peace to me. The last days sounds like the last days, like we're all going to die or something. So nobody's coming back to save any of you. Your job as your own Jesus, as your own God, or the child of God that you are, is to save your damn selves with the guidance of Jesus, with the guidance of God. You are in control of your own life. We are in control of this country, not them. That's why they keep trying to mess with us, because we are the government's enemy. That's why they literally don't even want us here. But I just want y'all to understand. Good morning and happy Memorial Day. Everybody say happy Memorial Day in the chat. I just want y'all to understand that Jesus is not coming back to save you. And like I said, if Jesus was to come back, they're just going to kill him all over again and cause more heartache because he's going to come back as a human. They killed him the last time. Did he save people last time? A few people, yeah. But like we just got to get out of this mindset, because like I said, as long as there's weirdos like this,
It's going to happen in North Korea. They're all going to go down.
People like that are going to just get them out of here. Probably day one. Second Jesus comes down and everybody like, oh my God, it's Jesus. And then it's going to take us about 2 days to try to figure out whether this is AI, whether the government's trying to trick us, or if it's actually Jesus, right? Next thing you know, we're going to be like, you know what? Okay, you have proven to us that you are Jesus. Okay, cool. Jesus is here. And next thing you know, bow. He gonna be gone. We were like, bro, what is you doing? And now we're gonna go to war with the person that did it, and then we're gonna be all hell's gonna break loose all over again. So I just want y'all to know, because guess what? There were no drones back then when Jesus was alive. There was no bullets and guns back when Jesus was walking around. So somebody gonna hit him with a damn drone. It's gonna be a drone strike on Jesus. And then we're gonna be like, bro, what is you doing? And now we're gonna try to figure out like who did it. Was it America? Was it IHOP? Was it Iran? Like, who did it? Was it come on, man. Like, we just gotta stop, man. We are in a world, not even a country, because other countries are just as bad, to be honest with you. We are in a country, and to a certain degree, world, that we are cannibalizing our own people. And because of AI, and because of how fast AI is progressing, regardless of what you think, Jesus or no Jesus, they don't want you here. They look at these 8 billion people that are on earth as a burden. I'll say it again. They see the majority of us as a burden, and they see us as replaceable. Okay? They see us as replaceable. And I said a couple days ago, the thing that is going to most likely happen is going to be an AI Jesus. And y'all are going to be like, oh my God, Mr. Let Go, see, you're wrong. And it's going to be an AI Jesus. They're going to create some type of damn robot, some, AI robot that's going to walk around dressed up like Jesus. And all y'all going to be bound down to a damn robot, which is sacrilegious. And yeah, so let's just keep going. But Jesus is not coming back to save you. We have to save ourselves from our own people, because our own people, Trump and all these other people, are idiots.
Agreement is reached, certified, and signed. But a senior Trump administration official told CBS News considerable progress has been made on the opening of the strait, so too on Iran's nuclear program, including its large stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, with this same official saying there's, quote, no dispute that the stockpiled material would be disposed of. It's a question of how. Tonight, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said his country did not want the bomb. We are now ready to reassure the world that we are not seeking nuclear weapons, he said. But Pezeshkian also lashed out at Israel, calling it a, quote, destabilizing force in the region. Tehran insists Israel's war in Lebanon be part of any deal. Despite a ceasefire, the Israeli military's confrontation with the Iranian proxy group Hezbollah has been devastating. And tonight, U.S. officials say they believe Iran's new supreme leader has approved the broad template for a draft deal, but that any agreement would lead to further negotiations, Jerika, rather than a final settlement.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you think this peace treaty is going to work, or do you think it's going to fall apart? What do y'all think in the chat? And I'll give y'all my opinion after y'all give me your opinion. So let me know in the chat. Do you think this peace treaty is going to be successful, or do you think it's just all a smokescreen and we're just going to stay in this stupid war for another 2-3 months? What do y'all think?
Israelis are pissed because we're learning the details about the Iranian-American deal, and it's essentially an American surrender. Israeli officials are freaking out today, saying that the deal does not serve Israel's interests. And they are exactly right. The U.S. and Iran now have agreed on the main points of the deal regarding the Strait of Hormuz and the enriched uranium. The Iranians promise not to make a nuclear weapon, but they want to keep the uranium within Iran. And the Iranians agree to open the Strait of Hormuz, but there's a disagreement on who really gets to control it. Oman, Iran, nobody really knows. And if you remember, the Israelis in the February negotiations said Iran has to give up ballistic missiles and give up all of their uranium given out of the country. Well, neither of those are going to happen, and also the Israelis aren't even involved in negotiations. And now the Iranians say the Israelis have to have a ceasefire in Lebanon and withdraw to even have a deal. And Trump's already showing he's not going to throw away the deal just because the Israelis want to operate in Lebanon. Iran's also going to be given $24 billion of frozen assets, which yet again the Israelis are pissed at. The Iranians have came out of the war in a far stronger position, and for the Israelis, they can't stand that.
Okay, just watch this. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Red alert. President Trump has a massive peace deal with Iran largely negotiated and
What's up, Colorado gamer?
ready to drop any moment after intense all-day White House sessions and a very good call with Arab leaders from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Jordan, Bahrain, and Pakistan. He's canceling weekend plans, even missing Don Jr.'s wedding, to lock this in for America first. Trump says final details are being worked out, the Strait of Hormuz will reopen, and Netanyahu will do whatever he wants him to do. While warmongers like Lindsey Graham have their hair on fire and neocons are melting down, regional leaders are urging peace to de-escalate and benefit the whole region. The Islamic regime has basically surrendered on key terms. Enough with these endless foreign entanglements, draining us time to focus on fixing America instead of another war. Pray for peace and wisdom for President Trump right now.
New overnight, Iran is insisting a deal is not close.
Oh, yeah, I don't like her either. I just played the video of her saying that, but yeah, I don't like Megyn Kelly either. I think Megyn Kelly is a piece of crap.
An Iranian foreign ministry spokesperson said negotiations are focused only on an end to the war, and they're not currently discussing nuclear issues. A U.S. official had said Iran would agree in principle to dispose of its enriched uranium and could receive sanctions relief in return.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Would be a two-step process. First, Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In exchange, the U.S. would lift its blockade.
Hold on. Let me back it up just a little bit.
relief in return.
We're going to give diplomacy every chance to succeed before we explore the alternatives.
On Sunday, a senior Trump administration official had said a potential deal between the U.S. and Iran would be a two-step process. First, Iran would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. In exchange, the U.S. would lift its blockade on Iranian ports. The move's aimed at easing oil and gas prices.
The bottom line is once the straits are open, then the tankers are going to go back.
But senators from both parties said an end to Iran's nuclear program is key to any deal.
When you're digging a hole, you should stop digging. That's what this agreement sounds like.
Exactly. When you're digging a hole, you need to stop digging, because that's what we're doing. The more the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the longer we're in this stupid war, the more we as a people suffer. So, yeah, I totally agree. Like, we got to stop digging a hole for no reason. There's nothing down there.
Some lawmakers and Trump allies remain critical, including his former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who said it was not remotely America first. On Truth Social, the president hit back. It isn't even fully negotiated yet, so don't listen to the losers.
The idea that somehow this president, given everything he's already proven he's willing to do, is going to somehow agree to a deal that ultimately winds up putting Iran in a stronger position when it comes to nuclear ambitions is absurd. That's just not going to happen.
Well, the president has said he doesn't want to rush a deal. He told CBS News that negotiators were getting closer, adding, "I will only sign a deal where we get everything we want."
Hold on. Something just came in. We got some more breaking news. All right, we just got some breaking news.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is powerful.
My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change? This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions. Do you think I'm a people pleaser? If so, where did I get this trait from? This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband.
If you don't do anything else, buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.
Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Morning, Secretary Rubio made it clear that if talks with Iran fail, other options to end the war could be explored.
What we're seeing right now is not really a peace deal, not yet anyways. What it really is more of a sequencing agreement that is designed to stop the sort of economic and military bleeding that we've been seeing now for several months. Now, of course, this leaves many thorny political issues for much later. But what we are hearing is that the Iranian Foreign Ministry is essentially saying that they are confirmed that negotiators are working on this sort of 14-point memorandum of understanding that is centered on two main objectives. Now, those objectives are essentially maintaining, or rather ending the war and ending the U.S. naval blockade, which is restricting Iranian oil exports. In exchange, Tehran would guarantee safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz and halt interference with commercial shipping.
This is my opinion on all of this. I actually think this is going to end. I actually think nobody wants this to happen. I don't think Bibi wants this to happen. I don't think Trump wants this to happen. But because of we're getting closer and closer to the the possibility of Donald Trump not winning the primary, I think it makes more sense for Donald Trump to just go ahead and just let it go and just give up. And I think that is the reason why it's putting more pressure on Donald Trump. That's my opinion, because the primary is coming up. So I think that is what is going on. I think Donald Trump is going to do everything he can to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Hopefully, gas prices will start to go down, and will literally, because American people are very fickle. If gas prices were to go down in the next month or so, we'll literally forget about all of this stuff and we're just going about our business. We'll literally forget that all this stuff happened. So there's a possibility that that this is true, we're going to have peace just for now, just so everything will work out in Donald Trump's favor in the near future. And we'll probably go back to war or something. But when you do, I think when you put together a peace treaty, you can't really break it on some United Nations type of stuff. You can't just be going back and forth. So I think if they officially put together a peace treaty will be good for the near future. But what's in it, we don't know. Because one of the things that Iran needed is no more wars. So in the agreement, it has to be in the past. I don't know if they're going to add it this time, but you cannot go to war with us. You cannot attack us. And another part of this was you have to take all of your assets, all of the bases, and leave the Middle East altogether. So whether America is going to do that or not, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah. But once again, do y'all think this is going to be in place in the next few weeks, or do you think it's a lie? I think it's going to be in place. I think we're going to be okay. I think this is actually when it's going to finally be over. Just my opinion. But what do y'all think in the chat? Let me know in the comments.
If that framework holds, both sides would then move to a 30 to 60-day negotiation phase focused on sanctions relief, frozen Iranian assets, and the future of Iran's highly enriched uranium stock.
So right here, we still have to go into like 30 to 60 more days of other stuff. But I think the dust is slowly settling. We're moving into summertime. People are going to want to travel. People are going to want to do different things. So the gas prices going lower will help out the American people. So the timing of this makes a lot of sense because we're about to go into summertime.
Stockpile and nuclear program. But this diplomacy is unfolding under intense pressure. Inside Iran, U.S. intelligence officials tell CBS News the country's new supreme leader, who hasn't been seen publicly since being selected, is operating from an undisclosed location, with limited outside contact, relying on couriers to communicate. There's also the Israel factor. Israeli officials are deeply skeptical of any deal, especially one that would see the end of the war in Lebanon. So really, this is a very complex situation that is unfolding right before our very eyes. And it could all fall apart before the real talks even start.
Let's talk about Iran and this potential memorandum of understanding with Iran. Your colleague, Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Roger Wicker said, quote, the rumored 60-day ceasefire with the belief that Iran will ever engage in good faith would be a...
Shauna, what are you saying? You said, if I'm not loved, is somebody harassing you in the comments, Shauna? What's going on? What are you talking about? You'll leave because you don't feel loved? What's going on? Is somebody attacking you in the chat or something? What's going on? Let me know what's going on in the chat. I have been watching the chat.
War in Lebanon. So really, this is a very complex situation that is unfolding right before our very eyes, and it could all fall apart before the real talks even start.
Let's talk about Iran and this potential memorandum of understanding with Iran. Your colleague, Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Roger Wicker said, quote, the rumored 60-day ceasefire with the belief that Iran will ever engage in good faith would be a disaster, unquote. I know that the details are vague at this point, but from what you've heard about this deal, would you support it?
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not too far away from where Pompeo is, to be honest with you, and I support what Chairman Wicker says. Look, we were told about 11 weeks ago by Hegseth and the Department of Defense that they had obliterated Iran's defenses, and it was just a matter of time before we had the nuclear material. Now we're talking about a posture where we may accept the nuclear material remaining in Iran. How does that make sense at all? Also, a 60-day ceasefire and expecting that they're going to clear the Strait of Hormuz before the terms of the deal are established also seems questionable to me. There are a lot of things that need to be explained. And as I've said before, any agreement with Iran that isn't subject to ratification by Congress is I think, going to be doomed to fail, just like the agreement we're trying to replace, which was the failed agreement by Obama.
So let's look into what I was talking about months ago. One thing I said months ago, and I'm not somebody that's going to jump on a high horse and say, I know everything about the war. But the one thing I did say over and over again is that America is not going to do a ground invasion in Iran. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me saying that. I said, I don't care what is going on. America will not ground invade Iran. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me saying that. So this is another reason why I think this whole thing is over with, because the United States are out of options. They sent all these people out to what was that? I forgot the name of it was like an island close to Iran, like they were getting ready to invade. I'm like, they're not going to invade because it's stupid. And this is the video I played to explain why and how it would have been stupid, because they would all die. It doesn't make any sense. So watch this.
What American resources have to accomplish. 500,000 soldiers minimum to occupy a country the size of Iran. That's the low-end estimate from the military's own invasion planning documents. In 2003, used 150,000 troops to occupy a country 1/3 the size with 1/3 the population. Iran is bigger, more populous, more militarily capable, and far more unified than Iraq ever was. Where do you stage 500,000 troops? Iraq won't allow it. The Iraqi government, now Shia-dominated and closely aligned with Iran, has already announced that American forces will not be permitted to use Iraqi territory for staging an invasion.
See right there, that was one part that I talked about. The neighboring countries are not going to allow the United States to set up shop in order to invade their neighboring country. Ain't nobody doing that. Like, people don't like America. Nobody in the Middle East really likes America. So that's kind of like, and just to explain what this looks like, is like, say I want to invade say somebody wants to invade my next door neighbor. Okay, my next door neighbor, the house next door to me. And in order to invade my next door neighbor, they have to set up shop in my house and bring all their supplies and put it in my garage and put it in one of my rooms or whatever. And then next thing you know, they'll plan the invasion, and then they'll use all the stuff that they have in my garage and then go invade my neighbor. I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing somebody to put all this shit in my garage. So that's kind of like what it would look like. The neighboring country would literally have to stage 1 million troops along with thousands of trucks and all kinds of shit, tanks, just sitting in the neighboring country. And nobody's going to do that. So America has just literally just been acting like they were about to invade and all this other stuff. They weren't going to do nothing. And I'm not a big political person where I know what's about to happen, but I just have common sense. And I know that would have just been asinine, because just like he's saying in this video, Iran is huge. This is not Iraq. This is not Lebanon. Iran is huge. And let's go a little farther in how huge it is and how stupid it would have been if we would have invaded, which I told y'all we weren't.
You need constant supply lines. Food, water, ammunition, fuel, medical supplies. All of this has to be transported constantly. And guess what? Iranian forces will target these supply lines
and blow it up.
They will ambush convoys. They will make it impossible to maintain logistics. If everyone knows this invasion will fail, the soldiers know it, the American people know it, why is it happening? What's the real reason? All right. The answer is The military-industrial complex wants this war because they want to burn excess money that's been printed. Let me explain this, okay? The American government has printed trillions of dollars over the past few years. COVID stimulus, Inflation Reduction Act, all of this money flooding into the economy. But this creates a problem. Too much money chasing too few goods equals inflation. Okay? You spend it on something that destroys the money without creating productive value. When you build a missile and then you fire it at a target and it explodes, that's money destroyed. When you build a tank and it gets blown up in combat, that's money destroyed.
So I hope y'all understand what he's saying. We have to destroy money. So this whole war was us destroying money. Does any, like, say yes or no in the chat if you understand what destroying money actually means? Say yes or no in the chat. Do you understand what he means by destroying money? Because if not, I could show you. But if not, but if y'all understand, I can keep going. But say yes or no in the chat. Do you understand what it means by we have to destroy money?
War is the perfect mechanism for burning excess capital. You understand? The military-industrial complex, these are the defense contractors, the weapons manufacturers, the private military companies. They make billions in profits while the money gets destroyed. Okay? So the elites who benefit from this system are pushing for war. They're bribing politicians. They're funding think tanks that write reports saying we need to invade Iran.
Okay, so some of y'all are saying no. So let me play this and this will help you understand. Because, okay, so let me give you an understanding of this. It's almost like a car dealership and they have all of these 2025 cars at their dealership. And it's May of 2026. All of these old ass cars, not old, but they're 225s, 2025 cars. You have to get rid of the old cars that are 2025s in order to be able to stockpile 2026 cars. And the 2026 cars are the cars that everybody really wants. So I'm talking about cars, but he's talking about money. So you have to sell off the old 2025 cars at a heavy discount and lose money. He said burn money, but lose money on their, just on their fiscal data sheets, financial sheets, to show that we just lost a whole bunch of money. So when it comes to money, you have to sell off old stuff, old missiles, old cars in order to make room for new cars, all right? New production. They're blowing up stuff in order to blow up the missiles that are now 2-3 years old. Because what happens is with cars, just like with these missiles, because it's not really about burning money, it's about burning products that are now almost inoperative. So when it comes to microchips and the hard drives that these missiles are using, where the missile is guided remotely and it can do all this crazy stuff in the air and just blow up something accurately, those missiles were built 3-4 years ago. Okay, just like a car being built 3-4 years ago. The machinery is no longer trustworthy because we have new machinery, right? And we had to bring in a new machinery. So before the missiles, as an example, become inoperative because the microchips that are running the actual the machinery is not even going to work anymore. So we have to start blowing up shit in order to blow up the missile and not the shit that the missile is blowing up in order to get it out of stock. So burning money is burning the actual product that is still sitting on our lots, whether it's a car that is 2 years old, we got to get rid of it, or whether it's missiles or stockpile of missiles. So we got to go to war with somebody in order to blow up all the missiles, not to blow up all the stuff, but blow up all the missiles. Okay. So hopefully I explained that properly. We have to blow up or get rid of old inventory to make room for new inventory that is updated with the proper technology. It's almost like a phone. So one last example. When you have a phone and it's 3 years old, what do? You get rid of your old phone and you get a new phone. All right. So if you look at cars, you look at phones, the iPhone 12 and then the iPhone 17 is coming out. You got to get rid of the iPhone 12 because the iPhone 12 is going to start operating in a buggy way. It's going to have bugs that are not going to be able to be updated. So you have to get rid of the old inventory. So that's what burning money means. It's not burning money, it's the burning what they spent the money on so they can report a loss.
They're bribing politicians. They're funding think tanks that write reports saying we need to invade Iran. They're paying media to create war propaganda. They're using their influence to make this happen. And they don't care that it will fail militarily. American soldiers are not stupid. They know this war is unpopular at home. What are they fighting for? To protect Saudi Arabia? To protect Israel? That's not a motivating cause for American soldiers to die for. Okay? So you have soldiers who don't want to be there, who don't believe in the mission. That's a morale crisis. And when morale collapses, armies collapse. The Zagros mountain range covers the western third of the country. The Elburz Mountains dominate the north. These aren't rolling hills. These are peaks above 4,000 meters with narrow passes, limited roads, and terrain where armored vehicles can't operate effectively and where air support has severely reduced visibility. Iranian forces have been preparing for this invasion for 20 years. They know every valley, every choke point. They have pre-positioned weapons, caches, they have underground bunkers. So American forces would be walking into traps constantly. Ambushes in narrow valleys where you can't maneuver. IEDs on mountain roads where there's no alternate route. Sniper positions on high ground where they can see you, but you can't see them. This is a nightmare scenario for any military, okay? Iranian forces don't need to fight you head on. They just wait until you're in a vulnerable position, moving through a narrow pass, crossing a river, stop for the night, and then they hit you with everything. They think regime change is happening. They think decapitating Iran's leadership means the war is won. But here's what nobody wants to tell you. The war was already lost before the first bomb dropped. And the reason has nothing to do with leadership or ideology or military strategy. It's math. Pure, brutal economics. Let me explain. On February 28th, the United States and Israel launched what they're calling Operation Epic Fury. The goal? Regime change in Iran. They've conducted over 2,000 airstrikes. They killed Khamenei. They destroyed IRGC facilities. And everyone in Washington and Tel Aviv is talking about victory. But here's the problem. While they were celebrating, Iran launched over 1,000 ballistic missiles and drones at Israel and U.S. allies across the Gulf. And this is where the math becomes catastrophic. Israel's Arrow system interceptors cost roughly $80,000 each. American THAAD interceptors cost between $12 million and $13 million per unit. Iranian ballistic missiles, about $100,000 to produce. Now you might think, okay, the Arrow is comparable, but look at THAAD. You're spending $13 million to stop a $100,000 missile. And here's the asymmetry that matters most. Iran is producing over 100 ballistic missiles per month.
So that shows you that there's no way in this world we was going to be able to take anything because we're outnumbered, we're outpriced. Their missiles don't even cost a lot of money, so they can just like keep going faster than us. And we're running out of money, like I said, because of, man, this is just stupid.
And here's another benefit for Trump personally. If the war goes badly and he needs emergency powers, he can delay elections. He can consolidate executive authority. He can suppress opposition by calling them unpatriotic during wartime. So even if this war is a disaster for America, it might help Trump personally stay in power. Does that make sense? People don't want to believe this because it suggests leaders make decisions that harm their countries for personal gain. But this is exactly what happened in Iraq in 2003. George W. Bush ignored intelligence reports that said there were no weapons of mass destruction. He invaded anyway. Why? Because it helped him politically. The Iraq War was sold as regime change through shock and awe. We'll decapitate Saddam's regime, destroy his military in 3 weeks, and democracy will flourish. And we did decapitate the regime. We
did do
killed
it.
Saddam. We destroyed the Iraqi army in 21 days. Mission accomplished, right? Then we spent 20 years fighting an insurgency that cost $2 trillion and over 4,000 American lives. Because regime decapitation doesn't end wars. It just creates power vacuums that get filled by worse actors.
And the power vacuums that get filled by worse actors is when you unalive the leader. The person that is under the leader is only going to take over, and is a possibility that the person under the leader that takes over is worse than the actual leader. So then when you come to try to sit down and have peace talks, you got to deal with this person that is angry at you for killing his leader. Because the only reason why he's in charge is because his leader is dead. So it's like, you killed my leader, and now you expect me to sit down with you with peace talks when you killed my leader? Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? And that's what happens in these freaking wars. You never win.
This was predicted on video by a Russian politician as early as 2013.
So what's their plan? They still need to occupy 7 more Arab countries, crush Syria, and destroy Iran with a military strike. America needs to weaken China. If Iran is struck, oil prices will soar to $200 per barrel. The Chinese economy won't be able to withstand that.
And then they would have to buy oil from us. See, it's not about going to war with China. It's about going to war with who China needs in order to gain leverage over China. Now China would have no choice but to buy oil from us. This way, we now have China by the balls, and they have to do what we tell them to do.
Striking Iran, America weakens both the EU and China.
This is the big money donors. This is a list of Trump's top 20 donors. There's $635 million in total. Look at this as a map of every interest we just talked about.
The donors are the reason why Donald Trump is going to war with Iran. So remember, there are multiple reasons why. This is one of the reasons why. The donors are paying Donald Trump himself, because I think the president only makes $200,000 a year, $400,000 a year. So I want y'all to think about this. You're the president of the United States. You only get paid $400,000 a year. So in order to make more money than $400,000 a year, you have to do deals with other countries who have interests that you share with them. Next thing you know, they fund you, they give you some money, and then, just like I was talking about earlier, now you owe them a favor, and now you got to go to war with Iran in order to maintain the money that your donor is continuing to give you.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is powerful.
My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change? This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions. Do you think I'm a people pleaser? If so, where did I get this trait from? This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband.
If you don't do anything else, buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.
Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game.
And y'all are talking about how Trump donated his salary. That's not even a point. Y'all are missing a point. Who cares about his salary? I was just saying that he only makes $400,000 a year. What he did with the $400,000 that he got doesn't matter. The point is, which is about to come up, he is getting billions of dollars, millions of dollars from outside sources to get him to go to war with Iran. It's not just IHOP that wants Donald Trump to go to war with Iran or keep this war going. So listen, y'all, it's not about his salary. I don't care whether he has his salary or he donated. It doesn't matter. Listen.
This is a list of Trump's top 20 donors.
Miriam Edelson. Y'all got to listen. And Miriam Edelson is the main person that we're paying attention to right here. She's the person that actually is getting Trump to go to war with Iran. Miriam Edelson is the main person on this list. Trump's top 20 donors that gave him $635 million.
Look at this as a map of every interest we just talked about. For example, number 1, Timothy Mellon, old banking and transportation dynasty, financial industrial complex. Number 2, Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, XAI. His companies hold billions and billions in Pentagon contracts, and his AI company just entered a program to build autonomous drone swarms for the military. That's the technological industrial complex and the military industrial complex.
Autonomous drone swarms. Isn't that what they're trying to do now? Autonomous drone swarms everywhere. They want to put drones in the air everywhere to surveil us.
In one person. There's number 3, Miriam Adelson. She has spent decades as the single biggest pro-Israel donor in American politics.
Right there. She is the primary person. And somebody says also blackmail, 1000%. And let's see. Shout out to Jeff. Digital money isn't burnable like printed money is. Yes. It doesn't get destroyed. It says on a balance sheet. It stays on a balance sheet. Yes. Blackmail is a part of this also with the Epstein files. Yes. Everybody thinks we're going to war with Iran because of the Epstein files. Let's go to war. Then you can't impeach me. Then you can't do this. And then it takes attention off the Epstein files. No, this is way bigger than the Epstein files. This is all financial. This is all leverage. This is about leveraging the United States against China. Probably 25% of this is about the Epstein files, y'all. Nobody cares about the damn Epstein files. Because guess what? Y'all can't do shit about it anyway. Nobody cares about the Epstein files. And I mean, them, the higher ups, they don't give a shit.
She's been pushing for regime change in Iran. That's $105 million towards the policy we just watched happen. She's been pushing for regime change in Iran. That's $105 million towards the policy we just watched happen. Right? Number 7, Ike Perlmutter, former chairman of Marvel, served on Trump's Informal Defense Advisory Council. It's number 9, Robert Bigelow, Bigelow Aerospace, Defense and Space. Right? These are military industrial complex adjacent donors. It's number 10, Kelsey Warren, runs Energy Transfer Partners, one of the biggest oil and gas pipeline companies in the country. Higher oil prices from a Hormuz shutdown go straight to his bottom line. Higher oil prices from a Hormuz shutdown go straight to his bottom line.
Do you see that this is not about the Epstein files? You dedicate $10 million to Trump and you own all of these oil facilities, or you control oil in America or wherever, right? Next thing you know, the guy you just gave $10 million to goes to war with Iran. And if they actually accomplish what they're looking to accomplish, we now control the oil prices. And all of that can turn around and make your entire lineage billionaires. Not him, because he's already a billionaire. Your son, and then your grandson, and then your grandson's son, and your great-great-great-grandson are now billionaires because of what you did with $10 million and what America accomplished with the war in Iran. This is how big all of this is.
Number 15, Howard Lutnick, indirect ties to Cantor Fitzgerald, has huge interests in Tether and whose company allegedly bet against the tariff policy while advising the president on the same policies. Right? He's now the Commerce Secretary. Number 16, Paul Singer, runs one of the most powerful hedge funds on earth. His fund's most recent public filings show hundreds of millions of dollars in defense and energy index funds, which all went up the moment the strike started. So here we have tech, defense, right? Oil, finance, Israel, every interest group that is represented here. This is their return on investment. And this is only what we know publicly. Now, some people also believe this has all been prearranged, right? Like the deal was made a while ago, and what we're watching on TV and social media is all just theater.
He's literally going to explain how them blowing shit up, it's not only theater, but it's like test driving a car. So this is kind of like what I was saying earlier about burning money. Watch this part right here. They're blowing shit up with these missiles to show other countries that the missiles work and how much damage each missile can actually do. Think about it. If I'm selling you a product, right? The first thing you're going to want to know is, well, how do I know the product works? Well, then if I was able to have a person that actually use my product and to tell you, hey, I use Mr. Let Go's product, his mother-daughter car game, it did wonders for my whole family. You want to be like, oh, I want to buy, right? So next thing you know, if I was selling missiles and not car games, well, how will you know how much damage the missiles that I'm selling you will incur? Well, I got to shoot something. I got to go blow some shit up with the missiles so you can buy them. Because remember, everybody is buying missiles, planes, and fighter jets and all kind of shit from us. So we have to actually go to war with another country and blow up shit and show the specific missile, the specific bomb that was being used so they can actually have a dossier of this list of things that we, Lockheed Martin, are selling to the rest of the world. How are you going to buy a missile from me when I never blew nothing up with the damn missile? You don't even know what the missile do, how far it can go, how accurate it can be, and how much damage it can cause. So in order to actually get this done, we have to go to war with somebody so you can see how all of this stuff is actually working in real time. So you can go to war with somebody later on down the line. This is all marketing. So this war is literally marketing. They're marketing their weapons to other countries.
A while ago, and what we're watching on TV and social media is all just theater. Now, if you assume for a moment that this is true, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But if it's true, then why bomb a whole country? Is that this operation was a live product demonstration.
Right there, live product demonstration.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Of Facebook ads, put a one in the chat. I want to make a point. Somebody said we're losing billions of dollars. And next thing you know, you raise prices and make other things. And now you remain at the top of the market share standpoint for the next 10 years. So it's about years of market share and not just right now. So you could turn around and spend all this money on marketing today. And in 5 years, not tomorrow, but 5 years, you done made 10 times more money that you spent now. So in other words, the money that the billions of dollars that we spent on this war, it caused gas prices to go up, which has made a number of people, a huge amount of people, millions of dollars, maybe $1 billion. And because of that, they were successful at what they were trying to do. The Strait of Hormuz being closed was all planned. And that's one reason why I think it's over, because I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. All this was a plan, and I think they did what they wanted to do. So it's time to go back to normal. And that's the reason why I think this peace thing is about to be over. So shout out to Jeff again. They're not the Epstein files, by the way. They are the Trump files featuring Epstein. Damn. Actually, let me see. I want to just ask, because I never thought about that. Let me see. Is Trump's name is Trump's name in the Epstein files more than Epstein's name?
Donald Trump's name appears more often in the Epstein files than Jeffrey Epstein's.
Wow. So you're right, Jeff. They are the Trump files featuring Epstein. Damn, I never thought about that. That's absolutely crazy. That's crazy. What just happened? Hold on one second. I gotta do something. What just happened? Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. That's crazy. Thank you for saying that, Jeff. I never thought about that. That is absolutely hilarious. It is what it is. Yo, phone, ain't nobody talking to you. Shut up. My phone just took credit for everything. That is hilarious. But you got to wait years later. And that's kind of like how it operates, how it works. You'll say how side can't defend against them.
By either 22s, F-35.
You'll say I have a Coke, not some Coke. A Coke is the thing, because the product recognition finally worked subconsciously on all of us. You either gonna say I want to. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get to a certain part. I don't know what I'm talking about a Coke. I'm just trying to get to a certain spot. marketing when you want to put yourself out there.
I bomb a whole country, is that this operation was a live product demonstration. Live product demonstration. What does that mean? It means every weapon system just got used, right? B-2 bombers, Tomahawk cruise missiles, F-22s, F-35s. This has all been shown on every news network and social media in the world. You could not buy this kind of advertising. Every country watching this is now thinking about what they need to buy, either to do what America just did or to defend against it.
Or to defend against it. Which means both sides are compelled to buy the missiles, not just one side. Because if one side buys the missiles, now the other side can't defend against them. So both sides are now marketed to the same way.
B-2 bombers, Tomahawk cruise missiles, F-22s, F-35s. This has all been shown on every news network and social media in the world. You could not.
And the news networks is the Super Bowl commercials. So unbeknownst to us, we're sitting here looking at all this stuff like, oh my God, the cluster missiles, right? You know, the missile that comes through and then boom, comes out in like 30 different little baby missiles. This is a product demonstration.
Every country watching this is now thinking about what they need to buy, either to do what America just did or to defend against it.
The news is literally a commercial. So this is the craziest part of this, hence the reason why I think this whole thing is over. The product demonstration is over. They've blown up enough stuff. They've shown what all of these different missiles can do. And they're advertising that there are new missiles that are going to come in and be even better than the missiles that they just shot out. And they've destroyed the money that they needed to destroy. And because of that, they've done their job. This whole thing was on purpose. And I think the way America makes money is by going to war so they can show off the missiles that we have. Therefore, other countries can buy them from us. So that's the reason why I think this whole thing is about to be over and we're about to go back to normal until we do some stupid shit again. So let me play the beginning of this for those who didn't see it to give y'all an understanding or an update on what's going on now. And we'll just get out of here because I'm about to go enjoy my Memorial Day.
Iran and the United States are now closer to a deal than ever before. Reports say a 60-day MOU may be signed shortly with room for extension. During this time, Iran will keep the Strait of Hormuz completely open, collecting zero tolls from passing ships. Tehran will personally clear all defensive water barriers, ensuring commercial traffic can safely pass through. Within these 60 days, both nations will negotiate their strategic programs, and Washington claims Iran may even reduce its enriched uranium. But here is the real question. What exactly will Iran get in return? In exchange, the United States will ease sanctions on Iranian ports and various sectors, potentially boosting their economy. The strict economic blockade will be lifted, allowing Iran to legally sell oil globally, causing a sharp drop in worldwide oil prices. Not only that, following this deal, Israel will reportedly halt all operations in Lebanon. This complete framework will be revealed in a few days. What happens next? Tell me below.
So, after seeing all that, do you think it's over or do you think it's a lie? After what you just seen, have I proven to you, and this is just my opinion, have I proven to you that most likely this is over or you still think it's a lie? They've blown up enough missiles. They've gotten rid of enough inventory. They've manipulated the stock market enough times where it's over, you know? So y'all are still saying it's a lie, is another lie. Cool. I get it. But yeah, I think it's over. And that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. But yeah, because they don't have anything else to prove. They've done everything that they needed to do. Because this whole war was not about the Strait of Hormuz. It was about just going to war just to go to war so they can try out and exhibit their missiles and how accurate they are. And to make a whole bunch of money off of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. But now that they've done that for a certain amount of time, it's time to go back to normal. So that is all I got, and that is my opinion. So it's over, in my opinion. It is over. The war is over. I will say in another 30 days, everything go back normal. And then gas prices will slowly go back down. And we'll be able to enjoy our summer. Just my opinion. And we'll see what happens next. And I love doing these world news videos because I'm so new to it. I learn as I go. So do y'all want me to make more war, world news, politics type of content, or stay on the Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk psyop stuff? I'm gonna do both, but which ones do y'all like the best? Which videos do y'all like the best? When I make world news videos or Erica Kirk is an idiot videos? So I said, no, we're cooked. We're not cooked, man. It's over. We are out of the oven. We're no longer being cooked. We're out of the oven. It is over. But y'all have a good rest of y'all day, and happy Memorial Day. Y'all go enjoy y'all beautiful days. I hope the sun is out where y'all are, where you guys are, and I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, wait. Somebody said play the hit a like button song. So I'm play the hit a like button song before I go. Where we at? Here we go.
Everybody hit the like button. 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 If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. What? Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. If you got something to say, drop it in the comments. Don't be acting afraid. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know you at. Drop your city. Drop your city in the chat. What? Drop your city. What? Drop your city in the chat. Drop your city in the chat.